Hi guys, I'm Fishman2114 and today we're talking all about betta fish, specifically on tankmates. As you probably know, bettas are known to be a solitary and rather aggressive fish. While this can be true, bettas can still thrive in a community tank setting, all based upon what tankmates you decide to choose for them, as well as that specific betta's temperament. Now, in picking a good betta tankmate, there's three major factors to consider. One, are they a similar color and body structure to a betta? Two, are they going to nip at the fins of the betta? And three, are they going to hog the food from the slower moving betta? All three of these factors play a major decision in picking the right betta tankmate. And just to get this out of the way, you'll want a decently sized tank. I would say 20 gallons is perfect, with 10 gallons being more of a minimum size. Getting into the nitty-gritty of factor one, we have to avoid fish that have a similar color and body structure to a betta fish. This is to prevent your betta from mistakenly identifying a fish as a rival betta, which will lead to non-stop aggression. We obviously don't want this, as it'll most likely end up in the betta wearing down and killing the imposter. It's also important to know with this rule that whatever your betta deems worthy to chase is based off that specific betta. You can have a really peaceful betta that will even tolerate lookalikes, or a demon child that will want to kill everything. It's really based upon the betta. However, typically female bettas are more friendly than male bettas, so I'd recommend using females for community tanks. This factor is really just meant to minimize the chance for betta aggression towards fellow community members. In that regard, we want to avoid fish that have long flowing fins that are similar to betta fins. We also will avoid fish that have the same colors as many bettas, at least in terms of how bright or exaggerated that said color is. We'll get into some specific examples later on. Just as much as we want to avoid fish that will be targeted by our betta, we want to avoid fish that will target the betta. Fish that are known to be fin nippers are an automatic no when it comes to making a good betta tankmate. This is pretty obvious due to the fact that most bettas have extremely long, flashy fins that can become easy targets for fin nippers. So this factor is pretty self-explanatory. Finally, for tankmate requirements, we want to avoid fast-moving fish that will hog the food from our betta. Bettas are not the fastest fish out there, especially as they get older. This is my older betta fish named Lunar, and at this point in his life, he is mostly stationary. If I were to add very fast, aggressive feeding fish to this tank, Lunar would most likely starve. This obviously isn't what any fish keeper wants, so avoiding these kinds of fish is ideal. You may want to just add some bottom feeding fish in the tank so that they won't even directly compete for food with your betta. Another great option are more shy fish that will often let the betta eat first before eating themselves. Just be sure to get a tankmate that will allow your betta to have readily available access to the food. This isn't exactly a key requirement by any means, but I wanted to briefly mention the fact that your betta should be the star of your tank. The betta is a very flashy centerpiece style fish, so I'd avoid choosing other centerpiece fish and rather just focus on fish that fit nicely with your betta. But at the end of the day, this is just an aesthetic choice, so take it with a grain of salt. Now here's where we get into the good examples of betta tankmates, at least in my opinion. First up, we have Corydoras, or Corys for short. Corys are the perfect blend of being extremely peaceful, not being overly colorful, and not directly competing with your betta for food, as they are bottom feeders. cories aren't even going to bother your beta. They're just going to exist in the lower levels of your tank, feeding off leftovers. Very similar to the cories, we also have the coolie loaches. Coolie loaches are here for the exact same reasons as the cories. They are extremely peaceful, have different colors compared to betas, and won't directly compete for food. Both of these fish, 9 times out of 10, can coexist with your beta. And if they cannot, it is not because of these fish, but rather the beta's aggression towards them. Another great tankmate option is the Amano shrimp. I currently have 7 Amano shrimps living with Lunar in a 7.5 gallon tank, and there have been no issues. Amanos don't have any body or color similarities towards betas. They don't eat at their fins or compete with food, at least too much. See, I don't know about you guys, but my Amanos are extremely bold for shrimp when it comes to feeding. They will even swim upside down, picking at the floating flakes in the tank. However, the beta almost always has plenty of time to eat the flakes before the Amanos can eat them all, so it's really not too bad. Some other great beta tankmate options are most kinds of tetras due to their shy nature, including neons, green, ember, and black neon tetras to name a few. With tetras and other schooling fish, you're just going to be sure to have a lot of them to avoid having 1 or 2 of them being singled out by a beta. I'd also recommend cherry shrimp, bristlenose, and other smaller plecos. And finally, we have the fork-tailed blue-eyed rainbow fish. These options should work so long as you don't have an aggressive beta. We've gone through the good, now let's finish off with the bad. Starting off, we have guppies. Now with guppies, I've seen mixed reviews of them, but from my personal experience, it is not a good combo to put guppies with betas. In short, the guppy appears to be similar to the beta with their bright coloration and longer tail fins. This just creates a 2 closely similar fish that can be targeted by the betas. I would say that endlers fall in this category too, not as difficult as guppies though, so just keep that in mind. Next, we have Harlequin rasboras. Now, I love these fish. However, they don't make great beta tankmates as they are some serious food hogs. They are more of a mid-water fish, but as soon as that food hits the top of the water, they dart up to get as much of that food as possible. They will definitely completely compete with your beta for food, so I would not recommend having them. I would also put any kind of Danio in this section for the same reasons as the Harlequin. Another bad option for beta tankmates are, in my opinion, tiger barbs. Tiger barbs are a pretty fast and aggressive feeding fish, but they're really here because of their fin nipping behavior, so I would just keep them far away from each other. Finally, for the bad, we have gouramis. Now, gouramis are more often than not just a case of being too similar to betas. They are closely related after all. They have many of the same mannerisms as betas, and I've found they can be quite the food hogs as well, so I personally wouldn't add them together. I also use gouramis as a centerpiece fish, so I think aesthetically they clash with the betas in that department. So that's my take on beta fish tankmates, what factors to choose from, and some good and bad tankmate choices. If you made it here, thank you for watching, and please consider liking and subscribing. If you want to go a step further, you can even go to the description of this video to join the channel membership program. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.